Chris into the queue. Oh, yeah, look at that handsome man. And oh, by the way, while we're talking about this, I seen you and Tom standing together. They didn't know had like half the women in the place looking at y'all. I was like, look at this. I took some pictures. I said, I got blackmail. I got some blackmail evidence now, man. You know, Tom's one of the illustrators, and the girls just love Tom. Last year, he had like a train following him around the place. I was like, Tom, you're mad? He said, yeah, man, I'm trying to get away from him. It's funny as hell. It was just one of them things. But anyway,
well, I'm single, so
that's a good thing for you. You said
drive on by. Yeah,
you said looking for a wife there, man. No, no.
Not a wife.
I'm getting Chris in trouble.
I'm here for a few days. Jesus.
I'm getting you in trouble. Go ahead and tell me your name. I'm sorry.
Hey, going, everybody. I'm Chris Winspear. I'm the grand prize winner of volume 36 of the Rise of the Future contest. Author. My story is The Trade, which is the first story in the volume. It had some bit of fun. Essentially, an alien comes, makes first contact with the people on the International Space Station because that makes sense. It's the most convenient people you would actually, realistically talk to. And he offers them solutions to climate change, solutions to all our problems, but of course, for a bit of a price. So yeah, check that out.
She said that. It's remember. So, what made you think you can write? Well, first off, before we go there, y'all need to go watch 2020 and 21. Chris was high energy on the stage. It was great. I told Carmen, the kids asked want to talk to him because he was super high energy and probably most high energy I ever did. He wasn't even there. He was in Ozzy. So I was like, look at this guy go, man. Yeah. So I got to meet this guy. He's going to be a blast, which you are, by the way. So what made you just grew up wanting to write or?
Yeah. So I guess I used to daydream as a child. I remember one of my earliest memories is I was at school and teachers like, yeah, today fill out this worksheet and then come see me. So I filled out the worksheet, went to the teacher. She's like, good job, gave me another worksheet. And I was like, what's the point of that? So I just sat there and daydreamed pretty much all through kindergarten, year one. And then year two, I went to a different school. And I'd been ignored for 2 years and then realized that I couldn't read. I couldn't do anything. I basically just sitting there doing nothing. But yes, I learned to read when I was in year two. I learned my letters and been reading ever since. But I guess I was a very quiet child. I just had ideas in my head because I kept them in my head. No one told me that those ideas were ridiculous, so I should stop daydreaming. And so eventually when I did start speaking, I probably only started speaking when I was 16 because I realized that the only way I'd get to talk to women is if I talk to women, which would involve talking.
You sound like the guy of a Big Bang, man. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, but anyway, I came into my shell, and by then it was too late because I had this habit of just having so many wells in my head, so many ideas. So I started writing because these ideas were in my head, and some of them I really liked. And I thought, that's cool. I'm going to write that down so I keep that, so I had that forever. And that's essentially why I started writing. And then after, I wrote one book when I actually started when I was 15 writing and handwritten on paper. It took me years. And then when I was about 20, I looked at it. I was like, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to publish this. So I did everything wrong. I tried to fix it by making it longer. It's supposed to be like a short kind of World War III starts, Tom Clancy action thing. Ends up just being this sprawling mess. It's 200,000. It's like 3 books in one. It's just a mess of stuff. And it was terrible. And I sent it out. And it was so bad, I got a personalized rejection letter because it was so bad. He felt obliged to take some time out of his day to tell me it was really, really bad. But the craziness came, and within 6 months, all this writing thing is a lot of work. It's not going to pay off. It's a bit silly. But within 6 months, I had no idea. I couldn't help myself. I was writing the next book. And eventually I thought, I might as well get good at this. So I ended up doing a master's back at home, master's of creative writing. Our masters aren't quite as prestigious as your masters over here in the States, really. You get someone like Brad Sanson to teach you, but they're still pretty cool.
Masters, most good.
Yeah, it's still pretty cool. It has a very literary air, though, I would say. Like some of the people I did the masters with don't have a huge throughput because they're so used to two things. They're used to being perfectionist, doing like a few stories a year. The second thing is they were used to, at the end of it, getting like, well done, you got a credit, you got distinction. When in reality, when you finish a story, you tend to get 18 times. Thanks for submitting, but what you just submitted is not quite right for our current needs, blah, blah, blah. So because of that, they had, I guess, the writing experience before they did the Masters. They're not as productive. But fortunately, I had a bit of experience before I got there. And it made me, I guess, a lot tighter with my prose. And I started writing short stories because I'd only done novels at that point. And one of the short stories ended up in the anthology. So there's my little life story there.
Yes. And, it was weird for me last year when I started saying, why do we have two big winners? What the hell? And then I forgot because it's 36 and 37.
Yeah.
And then you come up on stage. I was like, who is this guy, man? It was just too much.
Yeah.
And but it was great because I don't know if you could see the reaction of the audience. But it was great. I mean, I don't know if they even can see it. You might go back and look. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it was a great reaction. I mean, it really was. Everybody was like, you see everybody's face. They're like, who the hell is this guy? and it kind of, I think it kind of made some of the other top winners a little, because I noticed they were looking at him like, wow, maybe that's why he won. I was like, yeah, well, I don't know if that's why he won or not, but intimidated him, I think, a little bit. But the one was that she was a policewoman, so I don't think that intimidated Sarah. But it was interesting. She wrote a thing on psychic cops.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've seen a couple stories along those lines, but it's a kind of a strange thing that they actually did it. Then I'm hooking her up with Amelia Fasano, who finds missing children and missing babies as a psychic.
Good psychic cops, as opposed to like thought police psychic cops.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't actually read her, so I don't want to say. And we did an interview, but it was a short one because I was going to do everybody else. But then, we had hurricane hit where I live, and my business got just unbelievable, which I'm not complaining. But when we get that busy, I'm working usually 12, 14 hours a day, so I'm not even doing my own radio shows, much less interviews. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to go on tour, and I couldn't do it because I was too busy. And it's a good thing and a bad thing, because I got a lot of other stuff going on. When you can't tour, it makes things harder now. So I know where you're headed next.
Vegas, baby.
Y'all catch Chris out in Vegas. He'll be out there with your sexy babies in a little while.
Seriously, if anyone wants to hang in Vegas, please find my website, Winspear.com, and let me know, because I was just checking out town. I know nothing. So if you got any advice,
it's an interesting town. I wonder if Mike's still down there right now. This guy is 6'7", 300 pounds.
Just a little guy then.
Just a little baby. He's one of my hosts. He hosts Discovery Paranormal and the Red Pill News. And he's a big old boy though. He cracks me. He's telling me, I said, man, I will whoop you like you were a stepchild. You better just go sit down over there. But he's great. He's a great host. But I think he just recently moved down there. And he's a party animal and a half. He can't help himself. He probably knows everybody down there too. But there's a lot of good people down there, man. It's an interesting town too. It's changed its colors just recently. You'll find out when you get down there.
Okay.
It doesn't no longer have its leopard spots. It's just it's really transformed recently. So I go down twice a year usually, and everybody goes, "You're going gambling all the time." I said, "No, I'm not going gambling. So I'm going down to Area 51 actually." What? You where? I'm like, Area 51. Why don't you come down? No, they don't come to Area 51 with me. They're like, no, thank you, Joe. We're going gambling. We're not going
That's how it goes.
It's cool down here as hell, man. I don't know, your eyes, they might come get you though.
Yeah, no, if you want to come down.
Yeah, I might come visit you. We're gonna be there in 4 days, right?
Yeah.
Because I gotta fly
till the 14th.
I gotta fly back to Louisiana really quick, but I'm off for the week, which is kind of nice. So any new books coming up? So
I'm pitching a sort of saucy Arabian Nights retelling at the moment. It's basically 1001 Nights with a bit of sex magic and a feminist revolution. That's how I talk about
it. There you go.
So I'm pitching that at the moment, and I've said to myself, if it's not picked up traditionally, I'm going to self-publish one. I've been writing for a while. I kind of just want to get something out there. So that will come. This is my promise to y'all. Or is it all y'all? Whatever the correct grammar is. All y'all right now. But yeah, that'll be out. If I'm indie publishing it, probably sooner, probably like end of this year. If it's traditionally published, probably a year after, because they're a bit slower.
They're a bit slow. 18 months on average.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure why it takes 18 months, but it just seems.
I think they pipeline stuff, so they have an editor that's constantly got something on their desk, as opposed to when you hire your own people and like, sure, I'll help you right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll talk to you about it later. I got a couple of friends that do own publishing companies, smaller ones, but they got into it because, of course, they couldn't get their books published, so they published them themselves. And then Other people ask, can you publish him? Look, he said, yeah. But next thing you know, he's got about 108 clients now that publish regularly with him. So, and I think Bruce has a little bit more than that. So they have a pretty good market. And, but I'll tell you about it later. So I know he was over at Arthur Services. What do you think? Everybody nice?
It's funny whenever they see
all
me.
them French women over there, man.
I don't recall any French women.
3 of them. So
at
you
the
weren't paying
moment.
attention, obviously.
Yeah, obviously I was not on my A game right there. It's funny whenever they see me, they just burst out laughing because they just remember that video. They remember last year when I was made the speech.
They remember because it was great. It was a great speech, and it's one of those things. We tell people that because people remember you because of that. Even though you had a good book, even if they didn't read it, they now.
And I'm like, have you read the story too? They're like, we read your speech, and I'm like, okay,
like,
read the story.
Yeah. And read the story. But they remember you. So, that's a better chance that they might go look at your work because your work is seriously high energy. And it was a good thing. It wasn't a bad thing by any means. And so I remember the lady sitting next to me said, "He won? Wow." Because for you it was weird because way ahead you focus in, all you could see was big blue eyes and hyperness. And I was like, yeah. And then the lady said, "I see a good looking guy." And the lady next to me blushed like you wouldn't believe me. I said, "Obviously he must be." And I was messing with Joni about it. Joni's like, "Joe, I'm an older woman." I said, "I know what that sexy dress you got. Don't tell me that."
They didn't have a photo of me when they were judging. I just want to make that clear. It's anonymously judged. And beyond that, no photos are submitted until afterwards.
Right. All that stuff came later. It all came later. It's so I know you met John and Emily. Yeah,
they're super friendly.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been nice to
they
me.
want to whoop your and I asses afterwards.
Emily needs to stop working so hard and go scuba diving again.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, you know what? They're interesting because when they do slow down a little bit, they do go do stuff. I know. I don't know about scuba diving. They do a lot of other stuff. She's definitely way high energy. She's like never wants to stop.
She's lovely.
And I'll run up on her and say, "Stop, come sit down." All right, I'll sit down. Boom, she's gone. She's like Joni. Boom, she's gone. You're like,
yeah.
I told Joni I was babysitting Joni's wallet for her tonight when the barbecue. And Smith says, "I said it's not more like calm down." And then she goes by. She comes back. Oh, hugs me, takes the wallet, going again. I was like, "Joni, just sit still for 2 minutes." Nope, that's never gonna happen. None of them like to stay still for too long.
Mm.
And John, he's always running. But it's good. I mean, they do a good job and they take good care of everybody. Anybody driving you crazy? Everybody's been nice?
No, everyone's super nice, super friendly.
It's weird. We didn't have any complaints. That shit always bothers me when there's no complaints. I'm like, okay, well, that's really good. I mean, it's really good. I'm not complaining either, but
I think everyone's just so happy to be here, really. Yeah, everyone's in a good mood.
Oh, so your artwork? Who did your artwork?
A guy called Arthur Bowling III. And the fact that he's the third, we don't have that happening in Australia. So it was like, what kind of foreign duke is doing the artwork? It's my story. This is sick. But no, it was just like junior and junior's junior, whatever that means.
I thought they remember meeting him. Well, I met all the illustrators, because we did all the illustrators first last year because they were such short interviews, and most of them were less than. Some of them were 7 minutes, and I was like 7 minutes. I said, well, that's good. That's all you can handle. That's fine. And some of them were a little bit longer, but the authors, on the other hand, oh my god, you should go check out some. They were pretty good.
Yeah.
They were.
He did a great job. He did a phenomenal job, and we've been. Some the winners in my year have been hitting him up for maps and other illustration stuff. He's very talented.
Yeah, I was actually glad to see everybody's artwork. I thought they did a pretty good job on all of it. And of course, I draw stick people, so anything looks good to me. Let's just be honest about it. So we know you headed out, and then when do you think you headed back to Aussie land?
So yeah, I'm in Vegas to the 14th. I'm going to Hawaii, doing a bit of scuba diving and hanging out, and then going back to Australia on 24th, just before Anzac Day.
18-hour flight, 20-hour flight?
Yeah, and the ironic thing is, because it worked out significantly cheaper, I'm flying from Hawaii to LA just to turn around, to go home. So that'll be a lot of audiobooks or whatever I do on the flights.
Yeah. I can see that. Sometimes I read, sometimes I just stick some headphones in and go to sleep.
Yeah.
It just depends where I'm going and what I'm doing. If it's going to be more than 4 or 5 hours, I'm going to sleep. I just don't like when I got to sit somewhere in an airport for 3 hours. I'm like, really? Can't find a direct flight or an hour late over? See, last time I flew straight in from home. This time I had an hour wait, but it was funny because I got off the plane. So, well, you're going to board in 20 minutes. I'm like, really? I thought it was an hour. Oh, what's going to be an hour? We're going to board in 20 minutes. I'm like, where the hell is that? I don't even know what a gate is, man. I'm like, come on, people. Calm down with this stuff. Well, you're going to be at the gala this year, so you get to see all the craziness going on. Or they make you get on stage?
Oh, I'm gonna get on stage. They're all gonna be like, "What's he gonna do?"
I'm going to give you one of the woo whistle thingies.
Yeah.
Man.
And I'll feel obliged to do something. So I'll just end up doing interpretive dance. Just
It's,
peer pressure.
You picked out your tux?
Yeah, I brought my own tux,
Yeah, I
which
did
I think was a
last
good
year, I
idea. I
brought
heard
mine,
that tux fitting was a bit of a affair.
It is a bit of fair.
There aren't many tuxes left in LA, apparently.
Well, when I usually bring mine, and when I went this year, the woman's a little strange, but I don't want to hate on her, but you should see Todd's tux. You're gonna love Todd's tux. Let me put it this way: there were some great tuxes last year. I mean, I was in a custom black, normal tux. It was funny when I went over there to go see her. I was gonna get a whole tux, and she's like, "Well, you don't need a tux." She said, "You got a nice vest on, nice pants on, beautiful shirt, beautiful tie." So she took my tie from me, tie, and said, "Just wear that. Here's a jacket." I'm like, "Okay, that works for me. I'm not gonna argue with you about it." But she's a little intense. That's all I can tell you. Well, y'all don't go to her, do y'all, for the gowns? I don't know if she's what's
I brought my own.
See, that's the best way to do. Yeah, see, and I'll bring mine with me again next year because I don't have to do that kind of stuff. But so, are y'all gonna try to be like illustrators and come back next year?
Yeah, my Photoshop's not that good. They use Photoshop to paint, basically. They're just painting on a computer.
Oh, quick question. I forgot to ask them, but we had a lot of people last year. A lot of authors, a lot of illustrators told me they wanted to write children's books. Any aspiration? You gonna try? Can you write a children's book? No,
I mean,
you can't write one. No, you can't write
I tend to write very adult fiction at the moment, so it'd be a bit of a
that's
creep
a good thing.
Yeah,
I couldn't write a child's book. I'd be like, they'd be putting me in jail. I'd be like, what language did you use? No, you can't. It's just not gonna work. How do you like LA?
LA's interesting. I wish stuff was open after 2, but hey, no city's perfect.
Yeah, well, it's just they close down early. Well, you go to New Orleans, you don't have to worry about that. They're open every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It don't matter where you can eat, drink, smoke, whatever you want, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That sounds a lot of fun.
See, when we go out, we usually even go out to midnight, maybe 1.
Yeah.
We go out. We usually about daylight. We'll find one of the bars that serve food, and we'll go in and eat, drink. And usually, you come out, you got your sunglasses on because it's like noon, 1 o'clock, and that's just common down there. It's just a common thing. But one of the times they kind of closed down, and they're getting a little weird down there. So when I got out here, because when I was out here last year, I was like, man, I was looking for something to drink, couldn't find anything. Everything this place closes at midnight. I'm like, oh, come on, where am I in the twilight zone? So
I mean, I'm used to that in Sydney. Sydney's not known for its wildlife. That's why I came here. I was so excited, but sort of similar.
So what did you think about L. Ron Hubbard's event? I mean, how do you think about it? If you sponsor, you think you did good by setting all this money up for everybody to get out here?
Well, yeah, it's quite magnanimous to say, a certain portion of my estate will, in perpetuity, support young writers. And I kind of feel like, maybe we should put, if any other hugely famous authors that just did a Kickstarter for $50 million, completely coincidence that I mentioned that, were to like make a competition like that, they would be like awesome for the community. Not that there's any pressure to do so.
Kickstarter sounds like a good way of putting things out there.
Yeah.
I was listening to, if y'all know Kickstarter, y'all gonna have to look it up, but I was listening to a couple of the judges talk about it today, and a couple of people made some pretty good money off of it. And it's just a way to go. I heard Dean talking about it first.
Yeah.
And then I think it was it Kevin? It was Kevin, yeah. And he said, then they were talking about somebody who made buku money off of it just recently. When he said the amount, I was in shock. I was like, how much? I thought he said 40,000, but you had a couple of zeros to it.
Yeah.
40 million. I was like, what? How did you? Whoa! I said, tell me what this is again. I'm gonna get involved in this, man.
And Brandon's the actual judge of this contest too.
Yeah. It's it was just you got to be like just at all when you make that kind of money just off the blue like that.
It's
but hey, if y'all can do it, more power to you. I want to see all y'all make money. Then y'all write lots of books and hire people, drive you around. So just remember this old guy here. That's all I'm saying. Any part where make sure you give me your address. I mean your email one more time or your website.
Yeah. So basically, if you need to hit me up, go to Winspear.com. Winspear is just win, as in winning in Las Vegas, and spear, as in hunt the kangaroo.
He's got one of the
with a
easier
spear.
He's got one of the easier names.
Yeah.
Last year there was some seriously crazy names. Last year I was like, wait, what's your name again? I had to stop him a couple of times. So any aspirations immediately, like this week, next week?
Next few weeks I'm traveling.
Just vacationing, huh?
Yeah, pitching my novel. That's a big one, I guess. And then I think I'm going to write some short stories again. I've been really inspired by this because I guess I was too perfectionist. I was doing so many edits of short stories. I wasn't having fun anymore. So this has kind of taught me to enjoy it again. Because realistically, you don't actually change it much each edit, particularly after the first few edits. So just do a couple edits, boom, send it in, move on.
I'm not editing crap. I'm sending it something. Look, as it is, I use spell check as it is, man. So if somebody, I forgot which judge asked me. He said, "You're gonna get it." I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna call one of y'all." He said, "Well," I said, "I get to cheat. I know all of y'all. I'm calling one of y'all." I said, "I'll send it to Emily first, and if it's worth a crap, she'll send it to one of y'all." Oh, did you ever take the Writers of Future course? I mean, have you been on their website?
I had checked it out after we won, because then encouraged us all to have a look at it.
Yeah, take a look at the site.
Yeah, there's I encourage, if you want to check it out, there's some great bits by Orson Scott Card and Tim Powers, which are definitely worth checking out. Also, there's a great section about endings. Just like let your story very naturally fall into the ending that it will inevitably fall into. Don't wrangle your story anyway. Just let it kind of glide down and land. And I found that really, really helpful, because a lot of people freak out about endings. Just boom.
Well, I can imagine it's gonna be stressful, right? And see, for me, it's kind of like a stress relief now that I actually started writing something. But I was laughing at they were giving me trouble about it all day.
You tell stories all the time. Just like at the pub, you would just naturally tell a story. All you have to do, actually, you could just put on like a voice recorder there.
Yeah,
throw
I
it
think that's
into
what I'm gonna start doing.
Dragon.
We go out. We go a lot of different places, and I travel a lot. And when I'm lecturing, that's all they want to hear, stuff like that. They just it's when they found out I'm special forces. Oh, what did you do in special forces? I'm like, no, you don't need to know that. And what did you do in carry? Oh, you don't need to know that either. And it just goes on. But there's a lot of fun stuff we've been in over the year. The one I was talking about right now is just called Contact in the Bar. So, but it's technically it's not. It's nonfiction. It's going to be written as fiction, but technically it's not.
Yeah. There's a thing they call creative nonfiction, which is writing a nonfiction event in a creative style.
It's not going to get around here because it's going to end up being way too many words. So. It's coming out to about 5,000 words a day, and it's 11 days to write about. So it's a little bit over the limit here.
No, there's no. Yeah, I mean, the contest limit's something like 15. 17,000 words.
Yeah, this will be way over their limit,
but in reality, like.
But I was talking with Todd about a different story. I was talking about Todd about a different story today that might actually work. And he said, "Well, you plan on submitting?" I said, "I'll submit. I don't plan on winning." And then I told him, even if I do win, to give it to somebody else, to slot to somebody else. I'm gonna be out here every year anyway, So I'm like, no, just if y'all thought it was good enough to win, just say, "Yeah, thanks, Joe, you won," and then go ahead and pick somebody else.
But they won't do that because it's anonymously judged, and by the time it gets there,
when it gets back, they'll know. Trust me, they'll know. They'll know. You don't have to worry about it. They know me well enough that they'll know it was me. And that's what Todd was saying. He said, "Yeah." He said, "I know how you'll write it. We'll definitely know it was you." So, but I don't want to take anything away from people like y'all. I don't have a decent life, decent career. I'm only looking more to write because one of the other organizations I work for has just like research like this that I just want to get published out there and put it out there, and then that'll work for me. And if I was maybe 20 years younger, I might want to go on tour with it. But I'm touring anyway, and I got 86 tours to do so far this year. I'm probably going to do close to 100 radio shows. So I'll stay busy. It's nice for me. And it's like I just said, I'm being coast to coast with three different coasts. So, which by the way, all of y'all will get mentioned.
Cool.
So just be looking for it. And as long as we have your permission, I will put y'all on the list and give it to the editor or the publisher over there and say, "Hey, look, you got some good people." And she'll come by and look at these and say, "Hey, yeah," and she'll go ahead and probably bring you on. Because I don't know how long they might do, an hour, they might do 3 hours. Usually what they'll do is they'll bring you on for an hour, and after they get to know you, they may bring you on for long. And if you got a good book out there, they'll bring you. They'll let you do a 4-hour show. 4 hours sounds like a long time, but for them it actually comes out to about 2.5 hours of time. They got a lot of commercials, but they do Q&A at the end, so which I love. I love to take questions. To me, it's one of my favorite things to do. But anyway, I'll get y'all out of here so y'all can go get something to eat. It's what time? It's not that late, is it tonight? Oh my God, we're gonna get done at 10:30. Did I say that on there? Any parting words?
All good. Yeah. If you need anything, if you like to know more, just reach out. See Winspear.com.
I want to go visit him in Australia. I'll get down there.
Yeah, and if any of you are Australian and you're like, you're a writer or you just feel like it's a little cold because in Australia there isn't quite the noise there is over here.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, but you're not alone. There's plenty of actually Australians as well who write this stuff. So just come find us, and definitely if you're eligible, enter the contest because it's an amazing experience.
Yes, definitely. Again, I'm gonna say this for I don't know how many times this is now. If you don't submit, you can't win. Submit, and don't just submit one time. If for some reason you get a rejection, submit again. Like I said earlier, there's at least 2 contestants, one with 38 submissions, one with 40, and it's not 40 years, people. You can submit 4 times a year, so it's still a few years when you add it like that. But like Luke did a good job, but he submitted 14, so there's quite a few. Y'all are weird. This year's been a weird year because there's been a lot of first and second a year winners here.
Yeah.
And last year there was only 2. The year before that, I think there was only 3, so it's kind of odd. It just tells me that people are paying attention and learning more, so I think that's great. But I know we're going to get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, come see me on Coast to Coast on Tuesday. I will be with Clara and them on Saturday, so y'all can come check me out there. That's also going to be a video feed, and we will be talking about why should you not talk to an alien. I know. Good night, everybody. I'll see y'all soon.